Can you hear? Because some people were saying they couldn't hear me. It's loud enough? Don, you hear me? Great. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have let's see. If everybody would please rise and we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Secretary, are you here? Do we have a quorum?
Yes.
Yes, we have a quorum. Okay. We have a number of very important people who we kind of work with. We have, RAC has an executive committee with the president, vice president, and secretary, and we have 14 representatives from the Plaza building and 3 representatives from how our executive committee currently is made up of our immediate past president, Janice Harris. You want to wave at people? And we miss you. Janet Warren, our secretary. Sarah Chambers, our vice president and a past president. And myself. By the way, Don, this isn't working too well, so if you see me get stuck, just let me know. Okay, our past presidents who are present is Sarah Chambers, as I mentioned, Janice Harris, and Pearl Birnbaum. Are you in the room? And Pearl Birnbaum. All people who have helped, and there are many, many other presidents. We have RAC representatives from the BC wing in the Plaza building. These are the people who are serving on your floors and making sure everything works well. From the DE wings, this is the staff that's there. And from Gulfview Terrace, these are the 3 fabulous people that are there. They are all there to help you. They help with meetings. They are representatives back to the council. They serve on the council. They are great people. We have committee chairs, and I'm not going to go through all the committee chairs in detail, but this is those committee chairs. If any of the committee chairs are here right now, would you please stand up? Thank you very much for all the work you do. There's been a lot of interesting things happening, a lot of great things, a lot of challenges, a lot of changes. I had one person tell me just recently how nice it is to be getting our events back. Some of the people here have never even seen all the events because it's been a couple of years, so all those events that are coming back are wonderful. There's been discussion about changes still coming with dining, and I know Angie is here to address some of those changes. And there's a lot happening in the world today. This might be a little exaggeration, but prices have been going up, and it does affect everybody and anybody. So it's one of the things to consider when somebody said we should be giving a credit because we took off one entree and we shouldn't be paying $7.50. Go out and eat for $7.50. In fact, you can't go out for breakfast for a couple of people and not wind up being close to $50 these days. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. So, but that's what's happening. What I'd like to do right now, talking about prices and everything else going on, is bring up Angie Rohr to talk to you a little bit about dining and anything else she has on her schedule.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I love seeing all the red. I'll give a quick, I will make some comments on dining. I have a couple different things I want to talk about, but we'll start with how we're doing in sales and marketing. Our first quarter budget for sales was 9 sales. I think we're going to end with 5. Now, that being said, we have almost a week left, and marketing is known for pulling rabbits out of their hat at the last minute. So I'm confident we may get 1 or 2 more, but if not, we will end at 5 sales. One of the good things is that one of these last sales that we did capture, the woman that is going to be moving to Freedom Plaza, her sister will actually be moving to our memory care. So it was almost like a twofer for us. We're happy when folks that want to move to Freedom Plaza trust us enough to bring their loved ones and utilize our other product lines as well. So really happy about that. We also have 3 deposits that are going to move forward. They've picked their apartments. They just wanted to wait until their house sold, which doesn't take long these days. So there are going to be sales that happen in the month of April, and we need sales in April too. So we're happy to let them move at their own timeline. Because we know when we rush sales, it doesn't always end well for us. So we're happy to accommodate what they want to do as far as the timeline for their close. So those 3 folks will be signing all their paperwork in April. What we are going to do, a new initiative. So not just at Freedom Plaza, but some of our sister communities. A new trend that we've seen in the last few years is residents deciding to leave Freedom Plaza when they get to a point that they need some more help. So they move here, they live in independent living for 6, 8, 10 years, and they're getting to the point where they probably need some help, additional help, and want to go to assisted living, but they decide to leave Freedom Plaza and go move to an assisted living that's closer to their family, whether that's up in the Northeast or in Indiana or wherever around the country, but they decide, well, we're going to go live in assisted living close to our family. And while that is certainly anybody's individual prerogative, and I don't ever challenge somebody wanting to be closer to the family, but just want to make sure people understand what they're giving up when they leave Freedom Plaza, because the whole intention when you move here is you're paying a really large entry fee, and you're paying a lot to live here every month. And the benefit of all that really is to protect yourself in the future when you need additional healthcare services. So just we want to make sure that everybody understands the benefit of their contract and how it works. So you may see some letters come out from me over the next month or so, and we've done it in the past, but we're going to start doing it again, is holding some educational sessions to go over the residency contracts. And you always have the option of scheduling individual appointments with myself or with Mary Lydecker, the Director of Financial Services, if you want to talk specifically about your situation, your individual situation, and how the contract will work for you. So just for information now, but look for that coming out on the calendar in the memo when we set up those dates and times. Also in dining, Ron mentioned some changes, and we put out a memo earlier this week, and then I put out some clarifying information in the following day's memo. But we did talk last week in Resident Town Hall about some changes that we were going to have to implement in dining services. One being the switch to one time for in-room dining. So instead of having an early IRD pickup and an afternoon IRD pickup, we're doing one IRD pickup in the afternoon. The second thing was changing the menu selections, going from 3 daily selections to 2 daily selections, knowing that we still have our always available menu that is there for you, as well as the weekly selection will be there for you. So we're just taking away 1 daily selection. And with that, I've had a lot of conversations with Teresa, and our plan is to make those 2 selections you have a little better, since we're taking away that 3rd selection. Also, in the grill, which was not a foreseen change, we did have an employee there that went out on emergency medical leave. which took a situation where we were already a little short-handed in the grill and made it a little bit worse. So we're just changing the closing time for the grill to 1:30, and that is on the days that it would normally close at 2. So if it normally closed at 2 o'clock, it's gonna close at 1:30. Outside of that, it will stay the same. So on Thursdays, it's open 7:30 to 5 because we have the Thursday night turkey dinner. And on Sundays, it will remain open from 3 to 6. And how we're gonna do that is take some folks from the front of the house in the dining rooms and have them help out in the grill on those later, on the days that it's open later. So the last thing I will say about dining is that I wanna make sure that everybody knows my commitment, Teresa's commitment to you all is these changes are temporary. We have a list of all the things we've changed over the last several months because we've been short-handed and just a lot of pressure on the guys in the kitchen and gals. And so as soon as we're able to get some folks in and get us to staffing levels, pre-pandemic, all these things are gonna come back. That's a commitment from me to you. So wanna make sure everybody's aware of that because I talked to a couple residents who said, well, I know how it works. You say something's temporary and then we never see it again. And I think we've all experienced that in life. I know I have, where somebody said, we're gonna do this for now, just temporary till things turn around, and then you never see that benefit or that perk again. But my commitment to you is those things will come back. And that's all I have for today, so thank you.
Don't leave yet. Any questions for Angie before she leaves this podium?
Not so quick.
Yeah. Any questions? Want to make sure? My phone's been ringing off the hook, so all of those who call me. Okay.
How many vacancies do we have now?
So apartment vacancies, we have about 55.
So if you know anybody, refer them.
The other thing I want to mention, and I'm just going to mention it today because I don't have them with me to hand out. What we have are little business cards, and they have a QR code. And if you don't know what a QR code is, it's that little thing at restaurants now that they make you scan with your phone to pull their menu up. And what that QR code on those business cards does is take that individual to our careers page. And it shows all of our open positions and allows people to apply for them. So what I've asked June Ripley to do, who is our HR director, is order us a big old box of those cards and we'll pass them out to you all. And if you write your name on it and you're out in a restaurant and you have a really great server, or you have a really great meal and you want to have the cook come out to your table, and you write your name on that card and hand it to them, if they end up coming to work for Freedom Plaza, I'll make it worth your while. So coming soon will be some cards that I will hand out to everybody.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much, Angie. We have had elections of RAC reps coming up and other things. What I'd like to do is bring up the chair of our elections committee, who is also our vice president, Sarah Chambers, to talk about the results of those elections and other events for the election committee coming up.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. Under the bylaws, the RAC Vice President is responsible for the election or selection, as the case may be, of RAC committee members, RAC reps, and RAC officers. Therefore, at our February meeting of the council, which was last month, we installed 3 new RAC reps who had been selected to fill the upcoming vacancies through the processes under the bylaws. Now, before I announce their names, I would like to recognize and thank the RAC reps whom they are replacing. First, Jean Aronson. Jean, I know you're here. Where are you? There you are. Wave your hand. Jean stepped down after 2 years as the RAC rep for buildings 5 and 6 at GBT. And the way she did it was very, very clever. At the end of the year, she moved to building 10. In so doing so, she was, of course, no longer eligible to be the RAC rep for 5 and 6. And she demonstrated that there's more than one way to get out of doing a job. Jean was a fabulous RAC rep and has now joined me as a host coordinator, taking over the job of finding hosts for Sweet Peas at GBT. Thank you, Jean. And Bill Sciotta. Wave to your friends, Bill. Bill spent 4 years as RAC rep for 3DE, where with the strong support of his in-house technical committee, thank you, Anita, he provided excellent leadership and support and representation for his floor. Bill, now that we know how talented you are and what a splendid tech department you have, you will be hearing from us. And that's a promise. Phyllis Black is not here today. Phyllis did awesome duty as RAC rep on 2DE, acting as both host and RAC rep during the pandemic, as did most of our RAC reps. But Phyllis went above and beyond with a few new residents who needed more help than usual. And our thanks really go out to Phyllis. Thanks to all 3 of you for your service to the council and to the residents. Oh, you already did that, didn't you? Because this isn't working very well. Now to introduce their replacements. Kathy Bohr is joining her husband, Don. Don, who's back at the console, who's already been working on behalf of the council and the residents by providing our PowerPoints and our technology support for our general meetings. Kathy is going to serve as the RAC rep for buildings 5 and 6. And I can guarantee you that Kathy will not be moving to building 10. It's full. Kathy's been a member of the Dining Services Committee for 2 years. And based on our experience, we're sure she's going to do a very good job as RAC rep. Welcome to the council, Kathy. Carol O'Brien is replacing Bill Sciotta on 3DE. Now, Carol's a long-term resident here, and she knows how things work. So I'm sure she's going to do a great job as RAC rep, and we welcome her to the council as well. And the 3rd RAC rep we added last month is Chuck Ross. Chuck and his wife Jerry moved in last year, and so he will be learning a lot about how things work at Freedom Plaza in the post-pandemic era, because he never experienced any of that before. But I can say, how many people from 2DE are here today? All right. Well, I can say to you, have no fear. Now that Chuck is your RAC rep, the Marines have landed. And no phrase is more reassuring to people of our generation. Chuck also has a good tech department in Jerry, so everything's under control on 2DE. As a matter of fact, so much so that Chuck and Jerry have gone to sea on TDY. They call it a cruise. And today, Glenn Sperl filled in for them at our meeting. We're grateful to all 3 of these excellent new RAC reps, and we look forward to working with them. If you have not yet met your RAC rep, please make it a point to do so. I'm pleased to announce that again in 2022, we can say we have a council with 17 excellent RAC reps to represent and support our residents. So don't hesitate to bring them your questions and concerns. Now, for the other council election, the election of officers. In accordance with the bylaws, we canvass the council for candidates for the offices of President, Vice President, and Secretary. All the incumbents had agreed to run again, and there were no volunteers to run in opposition. Not surprisingly, all of us were re-elected. The work of your council will go on uninterrupted. So Ron Sweet, the creator of our terrific website, will continue as president. I will keep handling elections and the other duties of the vice president. And Janet Warren will still address our records and minutes and keep them in order, just as she has done since she got them in order 2 years ago. Now, while we're on the subject of elections, let me confide in you that many times resident association council elections are a confirmation that the unopposed candidate gets the job. That is not the case with our RAC committee selections. Every year we ask for volunteers for the RAC committee, all the 12 committees. The list of volunteers is presented to the committee chair of the particular committee, and he picks the number of committee members that he needs to fill his requirements from the list of volunteers. The committee then reconstituted holds elections for officers which have a 1-year term, and officers may be re-elected as long as they're not termed out. I'm telling you this to alert you that in May we'll be holding a committee fair where each RAC committee will have a table with displays and people there to explain what they do and how they do it and why you should join that committee. So that way you can make an informed decision about what committee you want to join. As I said, there are 12 RAC committees. So how do you become knowledgeable enough to know which ones you want to join? Well, you can go to racrep.org, click on the committee tile, and learn about them. You could click on minutes and read the various committee minutes. And you can read the committee's Chapter 9 in the RAC Orientation Handbook, which discusses those. Slide. You could talk to committees and chairmen listed on racrep.org, and you could attend the RAC Committee Fair on Friday morning, May 13th. Now, we don't have this year's flyer yet, but that's last year's, and I liked it so much, this year's will probably look just like it with the date change by one day. Susie will like that, right? Since she made it. Look for the notices on the Weekly and on Touchtown about the RAC Committee Fair. And now, before President Sweet gives me the hook, there is, as Lieutenant Colombo used to say, any Colombo fans out there in the audience? Just one more thing. Next, on April 1st, no fooling, management is joining your host coordinator, that would be me, to provide a full-up, whiz-bang orientation program for the new residents who have become part of our community during the COVID period. I'm sure you agree that for a time, when we were all staying in our apartments 24/7, and all our meals were delivered, and all the meetings and events were canceled, And the highlight of my week was the treat cart coming around on Friday with a masked blonde who had Angie's eyes and was handing out mudslides with 2 hands. And all of us were gaining weight. And no new residents who moved in under those conditions got the full flavor of real life at Freedom Plaza. So those people who came in under COVID conditions are invited to meet with all our principal directors here in the auditorium. The directors will present splendid summaries of what they do for you and how. Now, this is not going to be some corporate gobbledygook. I've seen to that. This is the straight poop. They are going to talk about things you need to know, and we are going to have lots of treats from dining services before, during, and after, including a party with hors d'oeuvres and adult beverages. So if you got an invitation, because this is by invitation only, if you got an invitation in your mailbox from me, please RSVP if you haven't already, and come to the orientation seminar on April 1st. It will be well worth your time. And thank you very much for listening. Yes, sir.
Any questions for Sarah while she's up here? Great, okay. Thank you so much. And you know, one of the things that makes being president so nice is one of our directives is any job the president wants to give away, he has the choice to give it to the vice president. So it makes life easy. So in addition to all the other things, well, I know because it was done to me, but okay. Now what I'd like to do is move on to our presentation from a couple of RAC committees. The first presentation is going to be Dennis Brady, if you could come up here. Dennis is the Administrative Services Committee. If you're not sure what that is, you're going to learn right now. But our committee chairs work with the directors of all the various departments independently, and Administrative Services is a very important department. So Dennis, take it away.
You can handle the slides, Don, I appreciate it. I'll try and keep up. This shows the members of our committee, and we are a working committee. That means we can have, I think it's up to 13 members, because we do, from time to time, do projects that require extra people. And in this group, we have representation from GVT as well. We've got 2 members over there. So we do cover the independent living spaces adequately. Jeff Dickerson is our director, and I really can't say enough about him. He's really great to work with. Our areas of responsibility include the front desk, transportation, and security and safety. And we do focus, again, on Freedom Plaza and GVT. Just a quick rundown, the front desk kind of carries out into the front of the building as well in that space. Transportation speaks for itself. Security and safety, we added safety recently to our mission statement because they really go hand in hand. And we do a lot of projects in this latter area of security and safety. Just a quick rundown of some of the things we've worked on. Y'all have seen the changes made to the back of the building for parking. It used to be a problem. People would double park there to do whatever. And that's an emergency route for a pretty good sized ladder truck or fire engine, and then an almost as large paramedic van. And they can't get by there when you park back there. So we really had to do something about that. People were not really cooperating about not parking there. So what we did is we did some bump outs, 2 of them at doors 2 and 5, and this took care of contractors, people moving that kind of thing. And more recently, delivery vehicles, the FedEx, the UPS, they now pull in there instead of in the front of the building where they were causing a lot of congestion, and it was just a difficult area to drive through. Also, we moved the postal worker there, and that freed up a space in front of the building that was used. It was almost always marked off for the postal worker, and it was really kind of a nice place to just quickly come in, unload groceries or whatever, and get out. So we made that a 15-minute parking area, and I think that's working out pretty well. We added some cameras at the GPT building entrances and tied them into monitors down on the front desk so that front desk can visually see who's at the doors of the GPT buildings. Jeff Dickerson put together a new parking policy. It was really kind of needed. And I know Angie doesn't want to have a lot of policies, but this was one that really needed to be put down in writing and people needed to read it, because we just have a lot of problems with parking. We don't have a lot of parking in the front of the building, for example. Visitors have to park out in a lot remotely and either walk in or call for a tram. But we had people that were parking in the front of the building, and it's a 1 hour parking, and they were parking all day, they were parking overnight, and it was making it difficult for other people to just get in there, do some business, and leave. So that was something that needed to be kind of the word spread that let's cooperate, let's make it fair for everybody. There's limited parking. Let's stick with the rule. And there's other things in the policy that are equally important. But Jeff did a good job of that. He handed it off to our committee to take a look at it to see if we had any input, things that we thought of maybe he didn't think of, and then the policy I think has been distributed. So it did include the work of your RAC committee. The front desk is a concierge desk. This is something that I guess the owners, the powers that be, would like that desk to be a desk similar to what you see in really nice hotels and hotels, where you go there for information, and it's kind of a go-to place. And so it's been kind of spruced up a little bit and made to look like a concierge desk. We have other projects going on that are just in various stages of completion, and one that I'll highlight is we're looking at, I said we, there's one individual that's really pushing this, but we'll all kind of pitch in, looking at all the safety devices that we have in this building, and what are they tested? Are they maintained? What are we assured that these things really work? Pull cords, that kind of thing, smoke detectors, because we got them, but we want to make sure that they work. So this is being looked into. I guess we can go to the next one. This one is a big, big deal, and this is where I'm going to be a little blunt. Everybody's familiar with roadkill. We're trying to avoid that. And anybody that's been here, I've been here going on 6 years, and just a few years back, we had a couple that were hit during the night, walking in the roadway in front of the building. They were hit by a golf cart, and he ended up in the hospital. She ended up in the hospital. He ended up being released, but not too later, they both became deceased. It's just dangerous to walk in the roadway in the front of the building. And the other day, I was coming in, and sure enough, here's a lady running across the road, cutting across with a walker, barely able to put one foot ahead of the other one. And I just waited and waited until she got out of the way. I didn't beep because I figured I'd scare the heck out of her. But that's just dangerous. And I think you've all heard of instances where somebody has mistaken the accelerator pedal for the brake and gone through the front of a building because they got confused. I can tell you, I think we have some drivers here that could get confused, and it wouldn't be a pretty sight. So I can't say enough. The walkway's a little bit longer to do that, but much, much safer. We've added, some time back, we added little patio things for getting from your golf cart onto the sidewalk so that you didn't walk from your golf cart in the roadway. the front of the building is a bad place to be walking, as it's often congested and people are coming in and out. They're focused on much different things than people walking. So just a word to the wise, use the sidewalks. I know Jeff has been kind of bird dogging it out there. He indicated he talked to one person about doing it and the person bit back. So we're really just trying to avoid having a situation. It's often said, well, until we have one, you know, people aren't going to pay attention. Well, we don't really want to have one. So enough said about that. That's it for me. If anybody has any questions.
Thank you so much, Dennis. And I want to second Dennis's concern. It's been a concern of Sarah's and mine over the years. This walking on the sidewalk is the way to go. If there's a problem that you can't, I know we're still dealing with it. When it rains, there's a puddle that gets out there, but I know that it's being looked at as to how we can get rid of that. But we need to stay on the sidewalks. It is so dangerous, and if you drive a car, you probably have experienced exactly what Dennis explained, people walking there. And it's not only us, it's people who work here too, and hopefully they're learning from their management, but we don't want to send them away either, but it's very, very important. We have a lot of committees, but we have a newer committee that started up, I don't know, about a year and a half ago. Unlike so many of our other committees who all work very, very hard, but go from meeting to meeting, this committee is like on call every single day, and they get those calls every single day, and that's our technology committee. I'd like to bring up Diane Bergman for committee chair to talk a little bit about what technology committee has been doing.
Good morning, everyone. Go ahead to the next slide. Just want to talk about what we do. Mainly, you want to go to the next slide? You get this one? Oh, okay, that's not exactly the slide that I had. Well, anyway, I'm going to tell you who we are. We are a group of Freedom Plaza. We are a group of Freedom Plaza volunteers with the following purpose. We facilitate, encourage, educate, and familiarize the residents of Freedom Plaza with the use of technology in response to the needs of the individuals. And I'd like to introduce our committee members. If they would all stand up here, and as I call your name, just wave to everybody. You have them in a different order than I have too. Tom Atschulder is on our committee. Go ahead and stand up, all you guys that are on the committee. And then just turn around, and then when I say your name, go ahead and wave to everyone so they know who you are. We have Mike Anderson, he's not here. We got Gene Aronson, I think everyone knows Gene. Myself. We have Larry Chambers, I guess he's not here today. He's in Indianapolis. Annapolis, excuse me, Annapolis. And Sarah Chambers, everyone knows her. We have Bruce Clatterbuck. We have Don Dion, Sandy Goldstein, Tom Hart, who's our secretary, he's doing a fantastic job, Doug Heim, Harry Hance, Sam Montana, Gary Nat Boney, Ron Sweet, and Don Bourne, who's back there doing the slides for us. That's our committee. And what we do, we work in conjunction with the ROC office to give support and recommendations and solutions to the residents of Freedom Plaza using their electronic devices, such as your cell phones, TVs, computers, printers, whatever else that you need. We also schedule presentations and from experts in the technology field, and we conduct workshops and demonstrations on using various technology devices. Yeah. Well, here's the committee. Okay, well, evidently we have a technology problem here this morning. Yeah. Well, I just want to let you know what we have done. Last year, even with the COVID restrictions that we've worked through, we assisted 273 service requests for residents such as yourself. We conducted 2 presentations and workshops. One was on how to share your cell phone pictures. And then we had a little breakout afterwards and helped individuals working on their cell phones on how to do that. Then we had a demonstration on how to use Chromebook. And those were the 2 presentation workshops that we conducted last year. This year, what we've done so far is we have assisted 102 service requests already this year to help residents with their electronic devices. And we've already sponsored 1 presentation, and that was on online banking and how the basics and the security using online banking. I sure wish you had my slides because they're kind of funny. So who do you call? So you don't need to pull out your hair when you're frustrated with your technology devices. All you have to do is call the ROC office to schedule an appointment with one of our RACTech committee members to come and help you with your issues. And by the way, I want to thank the ROC office for what they've been doing to help the RACTech committee in tracking all these requests. They're really doing a fantastic job for us. And lastly, I want to say be sure to keep a lookout for what's coming up with our presentation and workshops, because we are here to assist you. So anytime you have a tech problem, keep us in mind. And right now, I'd like to open up suggestions. Go ahead, Ron. Okay, Ron's going to add something here.
Okay, 2 things. The 4th or the last Wednesday of every month, we are going to be starting a series in April. It's going to be in the club room, which is a fairly small room, and we're going to have a maximum of 20 people. But these are going to, the first session is going to be on iPhones, and it'll basically be a short video presentation, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then the rest of it is going to be small group or one-on-one, depending on how many people we have. Some of the topics that we're going to be covering in this regular session are using your contacts, using your phone, Apple Notes, Apple Reminders, things like that, how to use FaceTime calls and so forth, how to use the camera, how to use your email, how to surf the web. So this will be, we're getting started this with the iPhone, and then I think after that we're going to get into the iPad. I know a lot of you have those, and then we're going to branch out and go into different devices. But we are going to, at the end of the meeting today, we are at each of the doors, we're going to hand out a form, and we would like for you to give your suggestions on what you would like your committee to address, what topics you would like to learn more about. So there'll be, Diane will be at one door, I'll be at the other door, we'll give you a form, turn it into the ROC office, and then before our next meeting, we'll look at them all and take your suggestions. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Okay, thanks. That was a little bit on my slides there too. So the very last thing that I want to talk about is that if you do have any tech abilities, if you have any tech abilities, the RACTech committee would love to have you join us. So keep that in mind. You can call the ROC office or one of the RACTech members and we will love to have you join us. Is there any other questions that anyone wants to talk about for the rec? All right, that's it that I have then.
Thank you, Diane. And when she says tech abilities, some of you may have an ability to just know Word or Microsoft Word, and you're semi-expert in it. We need that kind of help. So by tech abilities, anything's along those lines. If it uses a computer, or maybe in the case of Jean Aronson, she's our expert on Echo devices. So that you can, say, Echo, do the dishes. It doesn't work that way, but who knows in the future, they may have intelligent dishwashers put in here or something. But just, they need that kind of help. We're talking, we're going on the rate of about 500 to 600 requests coming in this year. And if you think about that, it isn't a job for one person to do, or even the team that's there. Each one of those people have put down the skills that they have. And in the Rock office, they have a skill matrix. So if you're calling and saying, I got this new telephone and the answering machine doesn't work, they know who might be able to help you with that. Not all of us have massive abilities. In fact, nobody could. But so they need your help. It's a bit of fun. You're doing a great service for the residents. So think about that. What I'd like to do is see if there's any other questions for any of our presenters or Angie or anything that you thought of since we were. Have they spoke? Okay, mic is on its way. Hold on.
Dawn?
Hi, thank you. My name is Kathy Miller, and I moved in December, and I'm in room 217. My question,
Welcome.
thank you. My question is concerning, I believe it's Ron, about parking and getting in and out of the car. I have a walker, and my CNA drives me up to the front door, helps me get out, gets my walker, and I go in. Are we supposed to park in the handicap parking or anywhere else that we can? I don't know where to park or what to do about this.
Angie, would you like to answer that?
Sure, if you're just being dropped off at the front entrance and somebody's then gonna go park your car for you, it's fine to just pull up to the front door and get out and go in. The point is, we don't want people sitting there for an extended period of time and unloading a trunk full of groceries and things like that. But if you're just getting out of the car and going into the building, that's fine.
I have one other question for whomever can answer this. If I am going to meet her, she's gone to get the car, and I don't want to just stand there. Do I just walk around the circle and go over to handicap parking if it's empty, so she can pull in there to pick me up, so I don't block traffic? What do I do about that?
I would say the same thing. If she's just pulling up to pick you up, because that's what our drivers do anyway.
Okay.
If a resident's waiting for a driver to go to an appointment, they just wait at the entrance and the driver pulls up and they get in. So that's fine.
Okay, I was just told by
No problem.
I was told by someone the other day, you can't do that, and I don't want to.
No, that's fine.
mess up
If you're
the
just being
rules.
dropped off or picked up, it's fine to do that right at the entrance.
Okay, and I certainly won't walk in that circle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff, you agree with all that? Yes. Any other questions? Got a question over here?
Thank you. I do feel that our entrance in the evening is rather dark, and I've mentioned to the front desk several times that can they think about having better lighting, because if you're walking on the sidewalk, there are a lot of cracks and crevices. It's hard to see those if someone has bad eyesight.
Okay.
And,
And you by the entrance, you're talking about to the plaza or to GVT?
The plaza, I'm sorry,
Okay.
plaza. And so that's the only thing I've noticed that could help a little bit would be a brighter lighting.
Sibby, can we look into some extra lights out in the circle? There you go. We'll get on that right away.
Okay.
In relation to that, would it be possible to get some more lights in the back of some of the GVT buildings?
Sibby said yes.
Okay. Now, does that mean it's gonna happen tomorrow, Sibby, or?
It'll be before he leaves today.
I thought maybe you're coming in this weekend to install some lighting. Other questions?
Hi, the last time that we had the fire alarm go off in the building, for an extended time, it was about 9:30 or 10, and it was late. And, I, finally poked my head out the door, and there was a couple wandering around wondering what to do. And I know it's been pointed out that the instructions in our handbook said to stay in your room and like that. But some people have stickers on the inside of their door telling them what to do when the alarm goes off. And I would like to have each and everyone have a sticker on their door. Thank you.
We can do that, and Stephanie has them, so I'll make sure, we'll put something in the memo today that if you do not have one, that we'll make sure you do get one for inside your door.
And they're magnets, if I remember
Correct.
correctly. So they just put them up against your door. Sarah would like to make a comment.
When new people move in, the RAC rep immediately on day one is tasked to take them 2 phone books and the emergency handbook. And since we have discovered the existence of the yellow magnetic card, Steffi also has those, and the RAC reps get one of those when they go to see her, along with the 2 phone books and the red dot. And I know, we'll get you some red dots, Amazon.com, honey.
Does everybody know what the red dot is? Yes. Okay, the red dot is, we just put a little red dot on the light switch that turns on the light that is an emergency light when the power goes out. So you kind of know which switch to use. I know some people are even putting that light on at night, just in case the power goes out during the night. Tim, I know you can talk loud, so I'm not worried about that.
I'll point out that the red dots are for the plaza, not GVT. In GVT, the emergency lights come on automatically. There is no switch to be
Wow,
done.
I'm jealous. GVT has something special that Plaza doesn't have. Can we see about that?
GVT still needs the red dots.
They still need the red dot?
We still put them in GVT. When I was president, I never seen GVT.
Well, we got a difference of opinion as to whether we need it or not. So if you need it, we'll make sure you get it. We'll discuss that later.
I've been told by one of the workers who picks up the trash that recycling has stopped. It doesn't matter where we put recycling or garbage. All the bins in the trash room are the same. Recycling has been stopped.
Do you want to address that, Angie? I can, but you know.
Well, I will tell you that I have not heard that. So I know there's very specific things that can be recycled, and a lot of things can't be recycled. So when those bins get jumbled with both, they probably do go into the trash. But I know we were working on, we at one point had signs in all the trash rooms that specified what can be recycled. And so and let's confirm that we have those signs in all the trash rooms, and if that is adhered to, then they will be recycled. But I will tell you, and I at home, once you put something in a recycle bin that is not recyclable, it all becomes trash.
But this worker said all the trash from all 5 bins in the trash room go in the same place. And there is no more recycling, is what he said. So you might check that out
I
with the
will.
workers.
I will.
Well, no, hold on, I want to continue this recycling situation, because I've had different opinion. I hate to disagree with Angie, but I know this, I got that information from Sarah, so.
Angie, my understanding after extensive discussions with various maintenance directors over the years and so forth is that our our trash company has the most amazing Rube Goldberg device that fills a whole warehouse. And yes, all the trash is dumped together into a bin, but they have equipment and machines that sort it, and they sort out the recyclables at their site. Now that's what I was told. So it doesn't look to you as if you are recycling, because you see all the trash going out in the same big container. However, it does get recycled.
And I can't comment either way. Sibby, do you? Well, no to what? All right, recycling goes to a separate location.
Okay,
Maybe we can do a specific presentation on that at the next resident town hall meeting, because I will be the first to admit I'm not an expert on how the recycling works.
yeah, because one of the things that people see is when all the trash is picked up, the gentleman comes to the trash room, throws it into one big container, takes it down to a truck, throws everything in the back of the truck. From what happens after there, I don't even know how he would know which one was which. So you might want to investigate further and come up with some current policy.
Will do.
Okay, one more question.
New topic over here. I didn't know Sibby was hiding back there. Sibby, what's the update on car wash and air for our tires?
Just come on up, Sibby.
We need to wash our cars.
That's what you get for hiding in the back of the room.
I knew it was coming. So the car wash area, as I've mentioned before, we're waiting for the vinyl fence to get put in. And I know it's been a few months now, but contractor was supposed to be here Wednesday to start that and get that portion of it finished. He was not able to make it Wednesday, yesterday, but he's supposedly supposed to be coming today. But the vacuum is here. That was the biggest item that we were waiting for delivery of, but that's here on site. Once that fence gets put in, we can install the vacuum, the water line, and then also a new air line over there as well. And the reason we have not put that in, because it's going on the back side of a fence and needs to be mounted to that fence. Otherwise, there's chances the water line could get broke, and where that asphalt stops at, it actually just drops off. So if vehicles drive too far past it, then they're gonna go off the curb and break the air line and the water line. So the fence has to go up, a parking curb has to go up, and then those 3 items can get into place. So I'd love to be able to give you a date, but I will say within the next week, you'll see that come into play.
How about the lockers?
Lockers are out there as well, so the gates need to be put on before the lockers can get put in place as well, so that we can secure everything. So the lockers are here, we're not waiting for lockers to get here. Once the gates get put on, then we can build the lockers and start setting them up for you guys.
I was just going to say that about 3 months ago, I think, housekeeping, Carrie in particular, put new recycling information in all the trash rooms. So there are new guidelines for recycling in all the trash rooms.
I've got a question that has to do with the dog park, the status of that, and I was wondering if they're gonna have dog what's I want to say there, poo stations there and water and benches and whatnot.
So yes, it will have a doggy bag station with also a receptacle to throw them away. We'll have an irrigation line which is already piped to it, and also a fresh water station. What the fresh water is going to actually pour into, we are searching for like a fountain with a self-filling bowl, if you will. So we'll have that, we'll have some benches, and I know there's a list of other items that we are going to put in place as well. Within the next 3 weeks, I believe, is what we're planning on as far as the opening of that.
Okay, just a couple of quick comments. On the website, the parking policy is right there on the website now, so if you haven't had a chance, it was distributed and talked about, go on there, you can see the parking policy. It'd be very, very obvious to see where it's at. Also, a number of you in the past I know had come to maintenance and say, when a request goes in, you didn't know whether or not they got it or if they were using it. They now have the ability, when a request goes in, they either hit accept or deny. So if you do not get back an email from them saying they have gotten it and it's accepted, I don't think they're ever using deny. They're very nice people. You want to assume they didn't get it and you really want to contact them again. Sometimes things may happen with emails, we all know that. But so that is all new procedures, and that's happening with everything. When you put in a request for maintenance on the website, it's reviewed and you should get back an email telling you that they have seen it and it's been assigned. So with all that, I thank you all for coming. There's still some refreshments left in the back of the room, and it'd be a shame if they get thrown out, which they never will. So please help yourself.